Hi, I'm Tori Norling with the Jesus Film Project. Since 1979, the Jesus Film has been translated into over 1,100 languages, helping people all over the world meet Jesus as he speaks in their own heart language. The Jesus Film Project has its headquarters in Orlando, Florida. Over 200 individuals work out of these offices, each having a significant role to play in getting the tool of the Jesus Film presented to as many people as possible. Each new translation of the film requires funding. These funds come from individuals and from groups. I've been closely involved with one particular translation of the film that occurred during 2011 and 2012. In August 2010, I approached my home church in Minnesota with the idea of funding a translation. A year and a half later, the funds were raised, and I was able to announce to the church which language was to be ours.
About a month ago, we were assigned a language.
It was to be a translation of the film for a group of 60,000 speakers of the Embera language, located in villages scattered around eastern Panama and northwest Colombia. The Embera people, for the most part, live simple lives untouched by modern influences. Even for those living within traveling distance of affluent Panama City, their culture and traditions have been relatively unchanged for centuries. They're known for their peaceful natures, their body painting, their generous hospitality, and their crafts. The Embera historically have adhered to the shaman religion, where the intertwining spirits of animals and the earth are thought to control events. And an individual in the village called the shaman is asked to see and influence these spirits as only he can do. The shaman's role is similar to that of witch doctors found in Africa and other places. During the summer of 2011, a missionary to the Embera people for 30 years, Doug Schermerhorn, began working with the Jesus Film Project to translate the movie's script into the Embera language. When the script was completed, the Embera Film Project and the Minnesota Church were joined together as partners in the creation of the film. Every new translation of the film needs voice actors of that language and a recording studio arranged within traveling distance of where those actors live. The same was true of the Embera translation. Actors were found, and 2 members of the Jesus Film travel team left for a tiny Panamanian town in February 2012. The recording location for 9 days was a small church adjacent to the Panama Canal about 20 minutes north of Panama City. The 2 recordists with the Jesus Film Project set to work putting the recording equipment together, and a sound-deadening booth was also constructed. Soon the Embera actors began arriving and recording began. Actually, many hours of script review, revisions, and practices preceded the actual recording. The recording team and actors ate their meals and slept in the church, and the process remained on schedule the entire time. During breaks, participants stood and marveled at the huge container ships that passed by the front door of the church throughout each day as they traversed the Panama Canal. Doug Schermerhorn, who was busy coaching the actors at the recording, was asked about the Embera people's understanding of God.
In their traditional understanding, God has not been very important. The plants of the jungle were the importance because of their ability to cure themselves, to get rid of evil, to protect themselves. God existed, but had very little input into their lives. My heart's desire is to see the Embera come to know Christ, and I believe that the Jesus Film is going to play a very important part in seeing that happen.
2 of the new Jesus Film backpack units were transported to Panama for use by the Embera pastors and missionaries that will show the Jesus Film going forward. While I was there, I trained 4 different men how to properly carry the 50-pound pack and how to assemble the different parts into a complete film showing system. The backpack contains a screen, a DVD player, projector, and a sound system for groups up to 200 people. The entire system can run on a battery that's included, and the battery can be recharged using a solar panel if necessary. The backpack units are perfect for environments where cars and roads are scarce, as with the jungle villages of the Embera. During the week of recording, an Embera named Tulio Rosales arrived and recorded the voice of Peter in the film. Earlier, I had been reminded that the 2006 film End of the Spear, about 5 missionaries martyred in Ecuador, had been filmed using Embera actors in Panama. Someone told me that Tulio had a small part in that film. One night, the men gathered and we watched End of the Spear with Spanish subtitles. It turns out that Tulio has been with YWAM in Panama for a few years.
My goal is reach all people, all Embera in Panama and Colombia for the kingdom of God. This is my goal. This is my heart. Many villages there is not church. The guerrilla kill many leaders in the community. No liberty, no freedom. God give hope.
The recording finished on schedule, and master copies of the Embera Jesus film DVDs were given to key ministries in Panama. 3 weeks later, some of the donors from the church in Minnesota flew down to Panama to be part of the first showings of the film. The donors were treated with a bird's-eye view of the Panama Canal, along with a few historic sites the first day in Panama. Then the film was shown 5 nights in a row in Embera villages and towns near Panama City.
We had the opportunity to show this film to about 130 members of the Embera tribe. It was the premiere showing, so it was a really big deal for them as well as us. We had a team of about 17 people. Some of us were inside the church, which held approximately 70 people, and the rest of us were outside in the overflow. The film went very well. The children, even the little ones, were very attentive and watched very carefully through the whole movie, which was fun to see. One of our team members, Isaac, did some magic tricks with the children and got their attention, and when they were fully captivated, he started to share his testimony. And after his testimony, we gave them the opportunity to accept Jesus into their heart. And about 12, maybe 15 little hands went up, and it brought such joy to me. I was in tears to see the effect that this movie had on those little children and the difference it will make in their lives. And that was an answer to prayer, and it made it all worthwhile. It's been really a blessing.
Day after day, the team transported the film showing equipment by minibus and by canoe to the villages where the system was set up, and as the sun was setting, local ministry leaders facilitated the showings of the Embera Jesus film. One highlight for the team was the trip up a shallow river to the San Juan de Picani village. The scenic little village in the hills provided the team a close look into the lives of the Embera people. They live deep in the jungle where they raise food and hunt wild game. The women make intricate crafts that they make available to adventurous tourists who travel the rivers to meet them. On arrival in San Juan de Picani, I began shooting photos and video of people working and going about their lives. I noticed a father and son were busy roofing a new hut. The teen paused a moment and said in clear English, "Are you here with the movie?" I was a bit startled to hear an Embera speaking to me in English, but I replied, "Yes." Then he said, "Thank you. We've been waiting to have this movie in our language." Later, at the film showing, 33 people responded to an invitation to accept Christ's gift of love and salvation. These kind, gentle Embera were very hospitable, allowing team members to spend the night in a hut and feeding them eggs and biscuits the next morning. Soon the village children were heading off to the schoolhouse at the top of the hill. With hot coffee brewing over an open fire, 3 girls from the team trekked up the hill and offered a small gift of stickers the teacher could use in the classroom. The teacher and children were very grateful. Then it was time to descend back to the hut to pack and get going on the river again. The village chief gave us permission to show the film in every village where we inquired. As I watched, one chief in particular seemed extremely attentive. The Embera are open to the gospel, and those who attended the film showings were responsive and grateful.
Jamás en la vida yo creo que desde que los Embera hemos vivido en la tierra, hemos escuchado la vida del Señor, ¿verdad? Qué es lo que Él hizo, cómo fue Él, ¿verdad? Pero todo fue hablado por nuestro idioma. Por eso es un impacto muy grande para nosotros.
Vimos el Señor, que cómo fueron que se sacrificó por nosotros, que derramó sangre por nosotros.
Eso fue muy especial ver todo pues, en mi idioma. Fue tan lindo ver cómo Dios me habló a través de eso. Al ver cómo fue explicado cronológicamente, yo puedo ver que yo no tengo otro Salvador aparte de Jesús. La única manera de llegar al cielo es a través de Dios mismo, el Cordero que vendió para salvar.
Y también a la vez y le doy gracias a Dios principalmente, también como parte de la película y Dios existe, ¿verdad?
O sea, no hay nadie más importante, si Él es mi Salvador.
I received word following the trip that numerous individuals at the villages were asking more and more questions about Christ and about Christianity. At least 2 people at San Juan de Picani told a local missionary that they now need their own church in their village. During the trip, dozens of Jesus Film DVDs were given out to Panamanians. From policemen to shopkeepers, everyone who received the gift was very thankful. A number of Embera ministers have caught a vision for getting the Jesus film shown in every Embera village in Panama and Colombia and planting churches where they are needed. There's a great challenge for those other than native Emberas to travel in the border region between Panama and Colombia, where a large portion of Embera live. This territory is controlled by Marxist guerrillas and drug traffickers. Non-Embera outsiders in this region are looked upon with suspicion and risk their safety and even their lives traveling there. Embera, on the other hand, can travel freely in this area. Thank God for what He has done. Native Embera ministers are poised to take the Jesus film into these areas. Pray that with speed and safety these ministers can meet open and ready hearts as they share Jesus with all Embera in Panama and Colombia.
Mupuru de Panama mumene kodia. Panana Israel na purona puge de chumpanania. Mawara ni ambawa hitabia. Simón unitua. Tia uruba anconia evidencia.
Le doy gracias a la iglesia primeramente de los Estados Unidos que han hecho el esfuerzo por hacer esta película tan bonita de Dios, y también quisiera pedir que nunca se olvide de nosotros como la comunidad en Embera Puro, que fue muy bonita, y le doy muchísimas gracias, que para nosotros fue muy grandioso que
I'm very, very happy for this film
Jesus in Embera.
I want to thank all the people in Minnesota who have graciously given to see this happen. Thank you very, very much.
I will use this film for my people. I'm very, very happy.
Thank you for your prayers and support, which are allowing us to introduce Christ through the Jesus film to these precious Embera people.